Hello again, I'm Ryan Hill, and today we're going to talk about Frederick McKinley Jones. He was born in Covington, Kentucky in 1893, and he died in 1961 in Minnesota. He was 78. He was an American inventor, entrepreneur, engineer, winner of the National Medal of Technology, and an inductee of the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Jones invented mobile refrigeration technology, enabling long-haul distribution of food, perishable goods. He received 61 patents, 40 for refrigeration technology. He co-founded Thermo King and also served as a sergeant in World War II. Jones was, again, like we said, was born in Covington, Kentucky in 1893. His father was Irish. His mother was African American. Father worked on the railroad, but had a hard time raising him financially and otherwise. And so Father Ryan, from the local parish, a Catholic priest, raised Jones, young Frederick, in the rectory in Cincinnati, Ohio, which was near Covington, right over the state line. Father Ryan took in Frederick Jones at the age of 8, and 2 years later, his father, John Jones, passed away. Frederick Jones left school after 6th grade at age 11. So at age 11, he went to nearby Cincinnati, Ohio. He worked odd jobs, including a garage cleaning boy. But by 14, he was working as an automobile mechanic and was later named garage foreman at 14. He was largely self-taught. He read different mechanical books. He had a natural mechanical ability, but he read different books and studied and self-taught himself. And he was willing to search out for new advancements against all odds at the time. Because again, he dropped out of school when he was in the 6th grade. So the things that he did was utterly amazing. Mechanical engineer. In 1912, Jones moved to Halleck, Minnesota, where he worked as a mechanic on a 50,000-acre farm. The farm was owned by James J. Hill. James J. Hill owned the Great Northern Railroad. So him being in proximity to Mr. James J. Hill and being on the farm, this helped facilitate his education in electricity and steam locomotion. He was able to harvest his talents there, to foster and grow his talents there. He lived there for over 20 years, which he would later say in a newspaper that Halleck was a place where a man was judged more by his character than his color. Judged more by his character and his ability than his color. So he really felt fond of Halleck and Mr. James J. Hill. Young Frederick Jones felt this was a place, again, where a black man could flourish, could study freely, and not face some of the daily overt attacks, physical, emotional, mental, verbal, and otherwise. Jones received his engineering license at age 20. He later upgraded his license to the highest grade. His Army service, we talked about. He was a veteran in World War I. He took part in World War I in an all-black unit until his mechanical skills were spotted, and he was promoted to a sergeant working as an electrician. Now, for his all-black camp, he furnished the lighting in his camp. He set up the lighting in his camp, the telegraph and telephone service. So he performed the wiring necessary to equip his camp with electricity, telegraph, and telephone services. Audio-visual work. After service with the U.S. Army in World War I, Jones returned to Halleck, Minnesota. He worked as a mechanic while learning about electronics. So this man's fixing cars, different machines, and now learning about electronics. He's wired his camp in the Army with lighting, telegraph service, telephones. He built a transmitter for the town's first radio station in Halleck, Minnesota. He also invented a device to combine sound with motion pictures. You know, you watch early movies, Marlene Dietrich, Charlie Chaplin, these early silent movies in the 20s. By him getting sound and words with these movies. He developed a sound projector. So this was big, because like I said, in the 20s was just silent pictures, and the 30s we didn't get talking pictures or talking movies until the 30s. He said he also invented a device to combine sound with motion pictures, like we were talking about. This attracted the attention of local entrepreneur Joseph A. Numero of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Numero owned a company that manufactured audio equipment called Ultraphone Sound Systems Incorporated, and was later renamed to Cinema Supplies Incorporated. He hired Frederick Jones, in 1927 as an electrical engineer to improve the audio equipment made by his firm. Jones worked on converting silent movie projectors, like we were talking about, into audio-visual projectors. So silent movie projectors into audio-visual projectors. Jones also patented a ticket dispensing machine for movie theaters. So he also made a ticket dispensing machine when you go to movies, where the tickets would pop out, of the apparatus or out of the top. Refrigeration. Around 1938, following a request by Numero, Jones began designing the thermal control Model A automatic truck refrigeration unit. Jones designed the portable air cooling unit for trucks carrying perishable food to prevent spoilage. Again, so this was major, carrying food across country, state to state, to prevent spoilage, whether to hotels, other restaurants, supermarkets. The Model A refrigeration equipment was attached to undercarriages of trucks. This is the Model A. Chilled air was transported to the inside of the trailer via refrigerant tubing. Because Model A was too heavy, Jones later developed the Model B. The Model B. The Model B was smaller and lighter, but not durable. In 1941, Jones completed development of the Model C, which was mounted to the front of the truck. It was compact, light, and withstood road vibrations. In 1939, Jones filed a patent for the Model A and received a patent for it on July 12, 1949. Numero sold his movie sound equipment business to RCA and formed a new company in partnership with Jones. So the entrepreneur, millionaire Numero, sold his company to RCA. We know RCA today, and formed a new company with Jones. So they were co-owners of a new company, the U.S. Thermo Control Company, later the Thermo King Corporation, dealing with refrigeration and portable cooling units, which became, in this company, the Thermo King Corporation, became a $3 million business by 1949. Portable cooling units designed by Jones were especially important during World War II, because these portable cooling units preserved blood, medicine, food out in the field for the soldiers, out on battlefields. And later, the Model C units were manufactured and available for commercial use. Other inventions. Frederick McKinley Jones, he also developed a portable X-ray machine. So a X-ray machine that you could take on the go with you. He also developed an early prototype of a snowmobile. It was a snowmobile that attached skis to the undercarriage of an airplane fuselage and attached a propeller and a soundtrack synchronizer, later selling the patent to RCA. So they sold the original, Numero sold his original company to RCA, and now Frederick Jones sells his snow machine or soundtrack synthesizer to RCA, or the patent for it. And again, that movie ticket dispenser and an early radio service for local doctors was also counted among Frederick Jones's inventions. Early radio service for local doctors to speak about medical advice, medical experience, to help each other, bounce ideas off of each other. So this was an early local radio service for doctors that he helped to get running, to formulate. Distinctions and honors, so many of them. During his life, Frederick McKinley Jones is awarded 61 patents, 40 were for refrigeration equipment, while others were for devices for theater equipment and devices pertaining to gasoline engines. So refrigeration equipment, theater equipment, we talk about the audio visual, and then also working on gasoline engines. In 1944, Jones became the first African American to become a member of the American Society of Refrigeration Engineers in 1944. In 1953, the 1953 Merit Award, Phyllis Wheatley Auxiliary, he won the 1953 Merit Award, Phyllis Wheatley Auxiliary, for outstanding achievements, which serve as an inspiration to youth, today and back then, of course. In 1977, he was posthumously inducted into the Minnesota Inventors Hall of Fame, the Minnesota Inventors Hall of Fame. He loved Halleck, Minnesota. He felt free there. He felt like he was able to create and work and live without tension and being coerced. In 1991, the National Medal of Technology was awarded to Joseph A. Numero and Frederick M. Jones. President George Bush presented the awards posthumously to their widows at a ceremony in the White House Rose Garden. President Bush in 1991. Jones was the first African American to receive the award, the Medal of Technology. In 1996, the Thermo King Model C refrigeration unit, the world's first front-mount refrigeration unit for model trucks, was designated an International Mechanical Engineering Landmark by the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. This was designated an International Mechanical Engineering Landmark because, again, taking this food across country and between states, this was big. This allowed commerce to open up even more. Items would not perish, medicine, goods, blood being preserved, taken in units, on refrigeration units. The challenges were to build a structural frame and refrigerant tubing connection that would withstand the constant pounding of road vibrations, and that's what his Model C was able to do. It was able to withstand the road vibrations while traveling through states. In 2007, Jones was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. The National Inventors Hall of Fame, which honored him as a visionary veteran. Again, he was a visionary veteran. He was a veteran of World War I. In March 2009, issue of Heavy Duty Truck magazine editor Tom Berg dubbed Jones the King of Cool. So this was, of course, with refrigeration. He was the King of Cool, and wrote that his technological breakthrough redefined the global marketplace. Absolutely. With cultural reverberations felt from the world's largest cities to its most isolated villages, because you could get those goods anywhere remotely or anywhere that was vast or highly populated. In 2015, Jones's achievements were recognized by the creators of a Black Heritage-themed playground located in Minneapolis. The playground features train-themed equipment with an educational plaque explaining Jones' model or mobile refrigeration technology. So in a black park in Minneapolis, Jones's refrigeration model technology was depicted in that black part in the artwork in that park. Very inspirational for the kids playing in that park. In 2022, several Black-owned breweries honored Jones during Black History Month. They released commemorative beers featuring the likeness of notable figures in Black history, including Jones. So they had a commemorative beer named after him with a picture of him next to the beer or the glass, or the name on the menu, of course. Death. He died of lung cancer. Frederick Jones died of lung cancer in Minneapolis in 1961, predeceasing his wife, Lucille. In an obituary in the Saturday Evening Post, it was said most engineers start at the bottom of a project and work up. But Fred McKinley Jones takes a flying leap to the top of the mountain and then backs down, cutting steps for himself and the rest of us as he goes. So Frederick, with his astounding accomplishments, he took a giant leap to the top, but came and cut his steps and ways back down to help the masses, to make things accessible for the masses. Of course, the refrigeration, the speaking, talking movie projector, engines. He worked on 2-cycle engines. So many daily things that we use today and then use then. So he was able to help the masses. And again, when you look back what he did, even with his army camp, providing the electricity, the telegraph and telephone service in his army camp at the time during World War I. I mean, my goodness, stupendous. Here's some of his patents. June 27th, 1939, ticket dispensing machine. That's the dispensing machine we talked about where the tickets came out of the top of the machine in the movie theater. Designed for air conditioning, 1942. There had been earlier air conditioners. There was a gentleman we talked about that worked on the air conditioner earlier. That was Latimer. But this was a design for a more portable, more even refurbished unit. 1943, removable cooling units for compartments. Removable cooling units for compartments. Taking these units and placing them inside compartments in trucks and in different vehicles or railroads, even when you were taking food across country or to different locations. 1943, means for automatically stopping and starting gas engines. Means for automatically stopping and starting gas engines, 1943. 1945, two-cycle gas engines that we mentioned earlier. 1947, two-cycle gas engines. Again, I guess he tweaked that a little more and did something even a little better with it in 47. 1949, automatic refrigeration system for long-haul trucks. That's the automatic refrigeration system for long-haul trucks. And that really opened up the trucking industry. Now when you can take those goods across country and make long hauls with them. 1949, starter generator. 1949 as well, means operated by a starter generator for cooling a gas engine. So a starter generator that would cool a gas engine. 1949, means for thermostatically operating gas engines. Keeping the temperature and the cooling and thermostat regulated on a gas engine. We know when cars get too hot today with no antifreeze in them or oil running low. But this was a thermostat for the operating of the gas engines. And why not? He had a design for air conditioning, for the air conditioning units and cooling units on removable cooling units. Rotary compressor, 1950. So many patents he had. 1950, system for controlling operation of refrigeration units. 1950 again, design for air conditioning unit. Still tweaking that at the time. 1950, engine actuated ventilating system, where an engine could cool itself, where the air can run through and ventilate, keep it from overheating. 1950, apparatus for heating or cooling atmosphere within an enclosure, cooling a room or an enclosure or a unit or the bed of a truck. 1950, prefabricated refrigeration construction. 1952, refrigeration control device. 1954, method and means of defrosting a cold diffuser. 1954, method and means for air conditioning. 1957, method and means for preserving perishable foodstuffs in transit. 1958, control device for internal combustion engine. Control device for internal combustion engine. In 1960, his last invention before he passed in 1961, thermostat and temperature control system. So our thermostat in our houses, a thermostat in a truck, in a refrigeration unit on a vehicle, turning up the heat or cooling down area, So this is thermostat and temperature control system. So yes, he was definitely the king of cool. He was the king of heat when you needed it as well. Frederick McKinley Jones, a brilliant man that tweaked so many things, and again, was able to invent a little more freer and with a little less stress up in Halleck, Minnesota. He was treated well by Numero, and again, some of the things that were going on in other parts of the country, he was not facing, fortunately, in Halleck, Minnesota at the time. So, when your mind's a little more clear and you feel a little more relaxed, you're able to think a little better, and you're able to produce. So again, he credits Halleck at the time with being a place where he was judged by his character and by his work ethic, not his color. So again, Frederick McKinley Jones, great inventor. We'll talk about some other gentlemen next time. These people help us each day, and we just want to get them out there. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.